something we haven't said for a little while. Welcome along to qualifying in China. After a few years' absence from the calendar, it is great to be back here. But just who is going to put their car on pole?
Hello everybody, it's Joe here, and welcome back once again to my F1 24 career mode journey. We are now at Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. It's round 4 of season 3. If you haven't seen the last one from Australia, do be sure to check that one out before you see this one. Also, if you've missed a few installments and you need to catch up, or you are a first time viewer, which if you are, welcome along, I hope you enjoy the content. You can check out my playlist and catch up with all the installments of career mode. The playlist is simply called F1 24 career mode, so have a look on my channel, you will find it and you will be able to catch up so you haven't missed a thing. But we're now here at China, it's round 4, we're in qualifying, trying to get through Q1, or should I say sprint qualifying. But we've done well to top the timesheets there. Lando Norris a couple attempts shy of us, and Hamilton even furtherly shy. We lose Tsunoda, Albon, Hulkenberg, Pourchaire and Magnussen from the first part. SQ2 now, and Perez doing me no favours there, but he doesn't really slow me up that much. All I had to do was veer offline to get past him. But now we head to the final corner. It's unfortunate for Oliver Bearman, who looks like he's going out because he had quite a good race in Australia. We're a little bit off the circuit there, but we do manage to set the fastest time in SQ2. And look how close it is once again. This is going to be another close weekend. We've had 3 race weekends so far and no race wins. So I'm hoping to make it a first race victory here at Shanghai. And so far, the pace is looking relatively good. We'll know a bit more about the race pace when we get to the sprint though. Down this long straight, which is really good for overtaking. So if you do find yourself slightly out of position, this is a great place to get overtakes done. And as we head to the end of the straight now, we've got to clip the hairpin perfectly. A little bit off the main apex, but that's fine. That's cool. We can now gain some time in the last corner by clipping that apex nicely. And as we cross the line, is it going to be pole position for the sprint? I do believe it is. So we get sprint pole here at Shanghai, with a lap that I didn't think was our particularly strongest lap, and I do think we left a tenth or 2 on the table there. But none of that matters because we've still got the pole. George Russell is second, Max Verstappen third, and then it's Norris and Leclerc rounding out the top 5 going into this sprint race.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Sunshine lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Gasly, Stroll, Perez, Ocon, Zhou, Bearman, Tsunoda, Albon, Hulkenberg, Théo Pourchaire, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. And striding into our commentary box to join us today, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on...
Just 10 laps ahead of us in this sprint. What can we do from here? The sprint race in Shanghai is underway. It's a decent start, but look at the launch Russell's got from P2. There was nothing we could have done to stop that, and George Russell diving through to take the lead. We're going side by side with him round the outside of turn 1, But Russell, I think, will just have the better line, and I think we've got a little bit too deep there. And Russell sweeps around the outside. In fact, we make a little bit of contact with him there and nearly lose the car. And that has helped Russell get a second ahead already by the end of Sector 1. I'm more interested about trying to keep Verstappen behind at this stage. And George Russell is simply disappearing off into the distance. Lap 1 out of 10. Your top 5 currently is Russell, myself, Verstappen, Norris and Charles Leclerc in 5th. Our teammate in P5. And on lap 2, we have started closing the gap to Russell now. But we find that the AI are just a little bit quicker than us. The pack are a bit quicker in Sector 2. So we've got to try and find a little bit of time in that sector. And we're doing everything we can to get onto the DRS of Russell. But as we come round the left-hander, he just clears it. So George Russell at this stage seemingly doing everything he needs to do. Lap 3, we clip the curb, we've nearly lost the car, we're having to go wide! And we've lost a few positions there! That is a big mistake to make. We have lost 3 places doing that. And Lewis Hamilton is now all over the rear of me. I'm trying to get the muck off my tyres, and that's not helping either. Lewis Hamilton now, down the inside. Hamilton getting the move done. We're now down to P6. But we're going to go wheel to wheel round the long right-hander. I'm keeping my foot in it. Just hoping we can get ahead of Lewis, who seems to lose the car there. What happened there? We nearly lose it after he whacked us. And I unfortunately took Piastri's front wing off. But look, Hamilton's car. What is that? That is a glitch, surely. Hamilton's car just behaving as if it had been abducted by aliens. What on earth happened there? Either way, he hit me and then I'm put towards Piastri, who's now got front wing damage. I do apologise, Oscar. But what on God's earth happened there? Right, now we're having to recover because of those 2 incidents, we are now down into P10. First up, I'm having a go at Oscar Piastri going down the inside. This should be relatively easy because obviously he will have that damage now. And we're now up into P9, challenging Pierre Gasly for 8th. I honestly have no idea what happened there. I honestly think that is a glitch. Has anyone else had that? Like, let me know in the comments if anybody else has had that happen to them before, because I have never seen that. So, P9 chasing down Pierre Gasly. We're going to have a go at the end of the straight because we're catching, and he's actually going very defensive. This should allow us through. I'm trying not to go into the back of Lewis Hamilton at the same time. Gasly just trying to hold on down the inside, but we've swept down the outside of the Alpine driver and moved ourselves back into the points of this sprint race. And now we're all over the back of Lewis Hamilton, and I'm so scared of what that Mercedes is going to do. Is it suddenly going to jump towards me again? I have no idea. But now we've pretty much dummied Hamilton there because we went for the outside, he covered, and then we moved to the inside. Hamilton staying alongside us though, side by side into the left-hander, wheel to wheel once again. But we're able to sweep round the outside and move ourselves into P7. Next up, we're catching Alonso and Sainz, but we are running out of laps to get this done, so we need to catch up as quickly as possible. Alonso's pace is actually quite good, which is making it harder to catch them because he's towing Sainz along with him. Sainz also showing really strong race pace here at Shanghai and going for P5 himself. Here we are on the DRS straight. We're gaining on Sainz, gaining on Sainz, gaining on Sainz. Are we overtaking him? Yes, we're going to have a look down the inside. It's a bit of a dive bomb, but we make it work. P6 now as we catch up with Fernando Alonso. We are in his DRS quite nicely, and if I keep using that line, I might lose time. Sainz is going to try and have a look back at me here. He's catching up. He's going to try and go around the outside. I allow him just a little bit of space, but he's not able to do anything with it. And now on lap 9, we're catching up with Fernando Alonso. 9/10 going into the DRS straight, draining the battery, and it really does help. Here we go, we're right behind Fernando Alonso. He goes to cover. Now we're going to move to the outside. Is there a way past Fernando this time? Yes, there is. We move ahead, and crucially we did it before the yellow flag. I forgot who dropped out of the race there, so I do apologise. But we managed to get that done. Moving to P5. Alonso's coming back at me. I cover one side. He tries to go for the other, but he doesn't quite have the momentum to complete that. And as we're now on the last lap of this sprint race, again, the question asks itself, what the heck happened with Hamilton's car? Why did it jump out like that? I don't know. Answers on a postcard. Max Verstappen wins the Chinese sprint race, and for us it's P5 and a handful of points. Not too bad considering that we had to do a bit of a recovery drive there, and admittedly we wouldn't have even been in that position where Hamilton jumped into us if I hadn't made that mistake first. So all in all, a bit of a sprint to forget, but we still managed to recover quite nicely and do a nice bit of damage limitation. Like, we don't really lose too much in that. And now we have a full Grand Prix ahead of us. So here's hoping no cars randomly jumping at the apex of that long right-hander. But your top 8 from the sprint are Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Russell, myself, Alonso, Sainz and Lance Stroll, picking up the final point for Aston Martin.
Now here's something we haven't said for a little while. Welcome along to qualifying in China. After a few years absence from the calendar, it is great to be back here. But just who is going to put their car on pole?
Right, are we ready to go again? It's time to qualify for the actual race here at Shanghai. We are not done yet. We still have a full Grand Prix to go, and I am eager to go for it. So, first part of qualifying. As always, we say goodbye to 5 drivers, and I'm hoping that I'm not one of them. And that is how I should have clipped the apex when we did our lap in SQ3. But now, well, that's not clipping an apex. That's going completely wide of it. In fact, you could park a bus in the gap between me and the apex, and as a result we're P6, half a second off nearly. Lando Norris just owning it in that session. We say goodbye to Ocon, Albon, Magnussen, Hulkenberg and Théo Pourchaire. Théo Pourchaire having no luck so far in this career mode campaign, and now we go into Q2 and it's looking pretty good for us this lap. Missing that apex slightly again though. But now as we head into the final corner, let's not go completely wide here. Let's clip that apex beautifully. And where do we end up? We end up fastest with a 31.2. Not an entirely bad lap time. But look how close it is. The front 5, less than 0.2 of a second separating us. This is going to be quite an exciting race, I feel. And now we're in Q3. And Oliver Behrman making it in, unlike the sprint race. So proud of Ollie for that. I'm actually potentially eyeing him when we do switch to my team eventually. I'm potentially eyeing Behrman as a teammate, so even if he doesn't do so well at Red Bull, I will throw you a bone, because I know what Red Bull are like with their second drivers. But that's a bit too political for now. Anyway, back with this video, I should say. Getting tripped up on myself there, as we now head to the final corner of Q3. What's it going to be? Where are we going to put this car on the grid? Is it going to be pole position? Not quite, but it's still a front row start. It's still a very strong start here at the Chinese Grand Prix. Who did get pole in the end? We shall see once I get through the podium pass screen. And pole position is George Russell, with myself in second, Hamilton in third. So the Mercedes are looking pretty quick round here. Verstappen gets 4th in the end. So yeah, Mercedes looking strong into this race.
It's time again then for Formula One in Shanghai. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and Sunshine completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Behrman, Stroll, Sainz, Zhou, Perez, Gasly, Ocon, Albon, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Teo Pourchaire, and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And alongside me in the commentary box today, a man who I always look up to.
The Chinese Grand Prix then, here we go, 28 laps. What can happen here? We are underway and Russell gets a very good start once again. I'm getting away okay too. Are we going to keep P2 going into turn 1? Yes, we do. So, holding position quite nicely there and getting ready to attack George Russell. Hopefully able to do it on this first lap. Got a bit deep there though. That's going to allow Verstappen to have a look. Verstappen managing to jump Lewis Hamilton off that start. And now Verstappen having a look round my outside. He's not going to get through round there. Bit of late braking. And we cover off the Dutchman, who now might find he's under pressure from Hamilton as he got a bit backed up there, but Hamilton not able to capitalise on that. Russell, meanwhile, building the lead while I was busy fighting Verstappen. He'll be building it even more after taking that line round the right-hander. That was a bit wide, but we're now heading towards the end of Sector 2, and Russell having that gap. But now on lap 2, we're catching up. We're not having any of this. We're not having a repeat of the sprint. I am going to try and get past Russell as quickly as possible. Verstappen is coming with me, and Hamilton just dropping back a little bit at this stage of the race. So Hamilton not quite having the pace of his teammate or having the pace of Verstappen at this stage, it seems. As I drain the battery, trying to get closer to Russell. I was in the DRS zone at the detection point, but Russell gained a couple of attempts, and as a result, he gained enough to prevent us from having a go on the second lap, but we're staying with George Russell for now. Verstappen in third, and Hamilton, like I said, just a bit further back. Lap 4, we're having a go at Russell once again, but I don't think we're going to be close enough to make this work. However, we're getting very close here. We're going to take a look round the outside. Russell covers a bit early there, and that enabled us to get alongside. We're now side by side with Russell heading into the final corner, and Russell just having the momentum and the run to hold on to the lead. But now I've been a bit backed up. Here comes Max Verstappen. Verstappen having a look to the outside. No, he's dummied us, and he's now gone to the inside. Verstappen pulling off the perfect dummy by having a look to the outside. We cover and then diving up the inside of us. And Max Verstappen moving into P2. That was an almighty move, wasn't it? And Fernando Alonso has now got clear of Lewis Hamilton, as has Charles Leclerc. So Lewis Hamilton struggling slightly, it would seem, at this stage of the Chinese Grand Prix. And I've now got 2 drivers to overtake instead of 1. The objective says overtake Russell. Verstappen's having a go at Russell. Russell's covering. The Red Bull and the Mercedes are side by side. And I think Max Verstappen might just take it here. But Russell's still up the inside. He's not giving this one up easy. Oh, they've touched. They touched. Verstappen tapped Russell's rear. And Russell, I think, was a little bit unsettled coming off the last corner, which is why Verstappen tagged him. That allows us to get clear of Verstappen. And now piling the pressure back onto George Russell. Lap 6 out of 28 here at China. And this is a very action-packed race already. Now Fernando Alonso is having a go at Max Verstappen. I don't know if anything will come of that, but they're both very close. And we're going down the inside of George Russell. That was a very late dive, but we've pulled it off. No, we haven't. Russell's up and under us and retaken the position, but that would have caught George off guard just a little bit there. And now we're challenging him for the lead once again. It's lap 8. Are we going to get down the inside? No. But there's a little cheeky move I do here where I put my car up the inside of turn 1. And we've got the lead from George Russell. And now we're leading this Chinese Grand Prix. Verstappen has forced his way into second. Russell third. Alonso fourth. And Leclerc still holding on to fifth. Hoping that this all goes horribly wrong. And he's able to capitalise from it. But at this moment in time, we lead the Chinese Grand Prix, and I'm hoping to stretch away. Meanwhile, we've got a Visa Cash App car slowing down. I think that's Sergio Perez dropping out of the race. So Perez not having the momentum to carry on. Yeah, that is Sergio Perez looking at the helmet. Perez out of the race. Here comes Verstappen again down the inside. Is he able to make it work? Yes, he is. But I'm going to switch back to the inside for the later part. Oh, we bang wheels. And there's more contact there. Twice there was contact. And Verstappen is not letting this go without a fight. He's really not letting it go. We're all over the back of Max Verstappen as he's retaken the lead. He's gone to cover the inside, which is the right move to go there because we were thinking of having a look, but Verstappen shutting the door in our face and saying no way. Back on the main straight now, we're having a look at Max Verstappen. Here we go, down the inside, Verstappen covers, switch to the outside, try and sweep round. Have we got it done? No, Verstappen just about ahead. We're now wheel to wheel into the left-hander here. Can we flick it round ahead of Max? Yes, we can. Max goes a little bit deep there. And we've got DRS for good measure, so that should keep us ahead of Verstappen for now. But he's still hungry for it, isn't he? Max Verstappen is never going to give up when he spots an opportunity. And why would he? Right, lap 12. Coming up to end it. Surely we got to pit soon. We've been given an objective to charge ERS. But how am I meant to charge it when I've got 5 drivers right up my chuff and I've got Max Verstappen going through, taking the lead, but I'm going to try and take it straight back here. And Verstappen a little bit wiser to me than Russell was going round there, but he wasn't able to fully cover me off. Before I'm now going to the outside and leaving Verstappen's space. This gives me the inside for the hairpin. We're still wheel to wheel with Max Verstappen. Down the inside we go, but we've missed our braking spot. Wide we go, through goes Verstappen. We just weren't able to hold him back there. And we outbrake ourselves, making that little mistake under pressure. But we have pitted at the end of lap 13. And we've got back ahead of Max Verstappen in the pits. So Verstappen, who would have been happy to be ahead of us there, now having to do it again as we get ahead in the pits. It's now lap 14. And we've even got a second breathing space to Verstappen, but I don't think that'll last. I think Verstappen will catch us while we're trying to race Zhou and Tsunoda ahead, but that might help me out here because if I can get ahead of one of them going round the right-hander, please don't do a Hamilton here, Tsunoda, I beg, I plead, don't do a Hamilton. And as we get ahead of him, that puts a car between myself and Verstappen, but, well, that should just be candy from a baby for Verstappen. But now we're going to have a look at Zhou and get past the Alpine driver. Hopefully, again, a car between Verstappen. That'll help us just bridge a little bit of a gap. But I think Zhou will be pitting this lap, which he does. And we've still made it work. We got 9/10 just about to Max Verstappen. And here's the rest of the pack coming out of the pits now. So we do maintain the lead with Max Verstappen in second. However, Russell is now third and Leclerc is fourth. So Russell has dropped back a bit, having looked quite strong at the start of the race. Russell has now dropped back a bit. We've made a mistake going around the right-hander. We've now gone off, trying to re-steady the car. Verstappen is all over me here. I'm covering the inside line. Max, you are not having the inside. Not a snowball's chance in hell. He tries to complete the move on the left, and he's coming across quite aggressively there. And Verstappen retaking the lead after we make a bit of a boo-boo. But now we're going back down the inside of turn 1, and Verstappen able to hold on. Verstappen still leading the race. Leclerc is now getting ahead of George Russell, and the reigning champion might have something to say about this battle. But I'm coming back at Verstappen on the straight now. Verstappen defends. We're going to the outside, and I'm forcing Max in as tight as I dare. And we're now side by side here, but Verstappen just having the momentum to stay ahead. Here we go then, onto the straight. Verstappen still staying ahead at the end of the straight. I'm in P2, and I'm chasing down the Red Bull driver. I am not willing to give this one up at all. Here we go, on the straight once again. Lap 19 at 28. I am coming for you, Max Verstappen. I do not know what the Dutch for I'm coming to get you is. But here we go, round the outside. No, gone too deep. Verstappen able to hold on. But we've got a good exit. And Verstappen, however, still holding on at the end of lap 19. We've still got another run of DRS down the pit straight. Are we able to make this work on Verstappen here? No, in fact, Charles Leclerc's thinking of having a go. No way through for either of us there. And it's once again a case of playing the waiting game. A bit of a cheeky send there. That was never going to amount to anything. Still all over the back of Verstappen, however. I don't want to give him time to breathe. I want to put the pressure on non-stop. Round the right-hander we go. Verstappen, myself. Now onto the straight. Here we go once again. We're much closer this time. Surely we can pull this off. Going in a bit tighter round the outside. Verstappen covering. And we're actually a little bit ahead heading into the final corner here. And we should be able to have this done. Verstappen goes out wide. And we take the lead once again here at Shanghai. But here comes Charles Leclerc. What is Leclerc going to do? Is he going to have a look? No. Charles Leclerc staying back for now. Although he's not far behind me at all, Leclerc really putting the pressure on here. This is a battle between the two Ferrari drivers. Is Leclerc going to have a look here? I wouldn't have thought so. But even by the end of the long straight, Leclerc, with us draining the battery, just staying behind us. Unfortunately, the way we drain the battery on the straight does leave us vulnerable on the pit straight as we head round the final corner. Clip both the curbs, bang, bang, onto the straight. Now here comes Charles Leclerc. What's he going to do? Are we going to have to cover? We cover the inside, and Leclerc turns into us! What was he doing there? Leclerc turns into us, making big contact. He has a look to the inside, I cover, and then Leclerc just simply drives right into me. What was he doing? Here we go, here's his onboard. We've covered the inside, and Leclerc's just tried turning the corner as if I wasn't there and turned straight into me. I left him plenty of space round the outside. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton's day goes from bad to worse. He was struggling at the early part of the race anyway, but now his engine has blown, and there's big controversy in this Chinese Grand Prix as the two Ferrari drivers come together. Last season's championship rivals coming together. And on my side of it, I gave him plenty of space. He went for the inside. I covered it. He then tried to switch to the outside. He had good momentum, but then he just turned in and whacked me quite hard, turning into the corner as if I wasn't there. So that's extraordinary. Anyway, speaking of extraordinary, I'm getting sandwiched now by Verstappen and Piastri, who have driven into each other. I've got a little bit of damage now because of driving into one of them. And we're now back down to third behind both the McLaren and the Red Bull. So I don't know where Piastri's come from in all of this. Piastri's now going for the lead, and Russell's going for us. Piastri is taking the lead. Oscar Piastri is leading this Chinese Grand Prix at the moment. He's still side by side with Max Verstappen. Piastri's gone wide. He's been caught out there. Verstappen retakes the lead. But Oscar Piastri had his moment there. And we're having a look at Verstappen. We're diving down the inside of Verstappen. Not quite making it through there. Going wheel to wheel. And Verstappen still just about staying ahead. We're trying to go around the outside. Nope, no way through there. And the Red Bull is clearly limping itself. So I wonder if he's struggling as we go down the inside of Verstappen and force the issue to retake the lead. And George Russell moves up into second place. Oscar Piastri, from going for the lead of the race, dropping down to fourth. And on lap 27, the penultimate lap, Verstappen is coming back at me once again. Is he going to bring George Russell? I don't know. I'm draining the battery to try and keep Max Verstappen behind. We might get sandwiched here. We are getting sandwiched here. So I'm going to brake later and hope those two have themselves to deal with. We're now trying to get up the inside of Max. Max is trying to hold the line. I'm going to try and break a bit later. Oh, we've tapped him. And Verstappen going a bit deep. Is he going to get through? Yes, he does. Verstappen and myself side by side. As we begin the last lap, I'm forcing him in tight to turn 1. And we sweep round the outside to retake the lead. What a race this has been. What exciting wheel-to-wheel battles we have seen here at Shanghai. And I'm really pushing for this one. Having a bit of a moment there, but it's the last lap, so I'm doing everything I can to hold on to this race lead. Look at Verstappen closing in so much, but I'm now controlling the speed round this second sector, trying to save up as much battery as I can so that we can go all out on the straight and hopefully keep the lead. But this is a cheeky little move I've had, cheeky little idea. Let Verstappen through for the detection point so that we can retake him down the straight. That's the plan. Let Verstappen have the lead going into the detection point. We're less than half a second behind. Max is going to be a sitting duck here. And you know what? We've even got that done before the corner. So that was a cheeky little tactic to help us maintain the win here at Shanghai. And that is exactly what we've got. As we head round the last corner, we grab our first win of the season. We win the Chinese Grand Prix. Come on.
Just want to say, thanks to all the haters. This one's for you.
Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
It's victory in Shanghai, and what a victory it is after an incredible Grand Prix.
Well, another race victory today. You could clearly see they're driving out there with very little pressure. You know, they know they have the performance, they know they've got the car under them as well, and this has done no harm, of course, for their championship chances.
Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Well, that was all-out action from lap 1 to the very finish, wasn't it? But that's a win I'm so happy to grab. Verstappen having to settle for second, and George Russell getting onto the podium in P3. Verstappen, though, getting the fastest lap of the race, so we didn't get that point, unfortunately. Norris and Piastri, 4th and 5th. And for Oscar Piastri, it looked like for one sweet moment, he would take the lead, didn't it? Alonso gets 6th, Behrman 7th, and Ocon gets 8th. But in the championship, we take the lead by 9 points to our teammate Charles Leclerc. And a question has to be asked over that incident. I don't believe that was my fault at all. However, if anyone has any differing opinions in the comments, please do let me know. But I don't think that was my fault. Thank you very much for watching this installment of Career Mode. I'm so happy to have taken the championship lead here and grabbed the first win of the season. Don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more content from me. Until the next time, I've been Joe, TTFN, ta-ta for now, take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of your day.